Welcome to the Adrienne Ross Show, the basketball edition. I don't want to waste time. First of all, I want to start off by saying congratulations to the Indiana Fever on your win against the Atlanta Dream last night. Congratulations to Aaliyah Boston on a monster game. Congratulations to Kelsey Mitchell. Congratulations to the team for playing good defense. But I got to tell you that I don't feel good about this win at all. I'm glad they got the win. Obviously, that's the ultimate goal. But I'm not glad about what I saw last night. And I'm going to say it emphatically. Some of you may disagree. But Coach Christie Sides is not the coach to coach Caitlin Clark. Now, maybe she feels, and maybe you feel, that she's the coach for this team. But she is not the coach for Caitlin Clark. I am happy that they came out with great defensive effort. I'm happy that Aaliyah Boston, as in her own words, decided to dominate, and she did well. But what I saw is a coach who absolutely has an opportunity to coach what many are saying is who many are saying is a generational player, and that is Caitlin Clark. And she can't do it. She has Caitlin sitting on the bench. And then if she doesn't have Caitlin sitting on the bench, she's still not utilizing Caitlin. I'm noticing that people are saying, and I've noticed as well, that the team, well, they seem to play better when Caitlin is not on the floor. I've heard that said. I've taken note myself. And that seemed to be the case at some point last night. And there are reasons for that. Number one is that defenses play differently when Caitlin is on the floor. So her very presence disrupts the flow of the offense. And Christie Sides doesn't know how to handle it. So it's easier for her to go away from Caitlin, whether she pulls her out or whether she puts her on the floor, takes the ball out of her hand and sticks her in the corner and has her stand there. So for much of the game, the ball was not in Caitlin's hand. But again, defenses play differently when Caitlin is on the floor. I've never seen anyone play, any team play any person like we're seeing Caitlin Clark play. And Coach Sides doesn't know how to handle it. And so she removed her, and the team seemed to be gelling. And, the coach has decided, and she said that she's going to play through the post. So she's going to play through Aaliyah Boston. I'm glad Aaliyah played well. I'm glad Kelsey Mitchell knocked down shots. It blows my mind that when Caitlin's on the floor, seems like Aaliyah Boston can't catch the ball. Seems like a lot of this stuff doesn't happen when Caitlin's on the floor. And when Caitlin is on the floor, it seems to me, we know that she's a distributor of the basketball. We know she's not a selfish player. And yet she gives the ball up too much, I feel. And I'm imagining some of that is just pressure, overthinking, and a lot of it is coaching. So she gives the ball up. She doesn't get it back. Kelsey Mitchell dropped shots. She only had 2 assists because she doesn't pass the ball much. Caitlin Clark had 6 assists, even with the ball out of her hands much of the time. I'm sure she's glad she won. The team won. But I'm sure if you looked at her, there was frustration. I saw a headline that said something like, the team is better without Caitlin Clark playing hero ball. Let's just debunk that. Caitlin Clark is an unselfish player. She's not out there just trying to pad numbers. In fact, like I said, sometimes she's too unselfish. So let's just get rid of that. That's not the deal. This coach doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't deserve to coach this generational talent. If she wanted to simply slow the game down and play through the post, then she should not have drafted Caitlin Clark. Because although it seemed to work for some of the game, you saw what happened toward the end. And then the ball goes in Caitlin Clark's hands. Playing through the post didn't work for them last year. And I don't think it's going to work long-term this year. Kelsey Mitchell is a streaky shooter. And you don't really want to run the offense through her. She's undisciplined. I said that. Thankfully, she does hit and did hit some huge shots. Aaliyah Boston had a huge game, and the team played great defense. And Caitlin Clark is included in that defensive effort that went forth. But if you want to slow the game down, you shouldn't have drafted Caitlin Clark, and you certainly should not have her off in the corner. You don't run any screens for her. If you want to take her off the ball, then why aren't you running screens for her to get her open? Why are you taking the #1 draft pick, the generational player, and kind of sticking her in the corner and going completely away from her? She gives up the ball and she never sees it again. And Coach Sides is drawing this up. I imagine she's pleased with it. It sounds like, but she doesn't know what she's doing. Listen, for those who say, oh, Caitlin Clark wants to play hero ball and she thought she was all that. Let's be truthful. Caitlin Clark knew that she was ready for this next level, and she knew that she could contribute, and she wanted to do that. But she also knew that she had a lot to learn, and the competitor that she is wants to learn, wants to grow. She knows she needs to grow. She wants to grow, but she cannot grow under Christie Sides. Christie Sides is not able to coach Caitlin Clark to be a better player. So what does she do? She pulls her, or she sticks her in the corner off the ball and doesn't run anything for her. And the team, Caitlin gives up the ball. She's not getting it back. And I saw her at times calling for the ball from Wheeler, who looked the other way. Now, there are people who believe that they're purposely freezing Caitlin Clark out. I don't know, but I saw the frustration, and it's not out of selfishness on her part. It's out of the fact that this coach doesn't know how to coach her. So she'll stick her in the corner and won't run any screens for her. We'll do some more about screening soon. At least that's my plan. But it's unfortunate to me that Caitlin Clark is on this team. And although I'm glad they won, it doesn't feel like a win. And I said it early in the game, I'm looking at what they're doing. I'm looking at how they're trying to play. And I'm like, this is going to backfire. While it works, it works. But at some point, it's not working. And therefore, they blew a huge lead. Was it, what, 18 points? 18-point lead at one point? And wow, they blew that lead. Now you want Caitlin Clark to have the ball in her hands. Coach Sides is not the coach for Caitlin Clark. And I really feel for her. And some of you are going to say, well, it should be more about the team. Well, what she didn't work for the team last year. And methinks it's not going to work long-term this year. And I also don't like to see talent wasted. And I feel that because this coach doesn't know how to handle a Caitlin Clark, it's a waste of her talent. And instead of growing as she wants to do and has worked so hard to do, I feel like her game is going to be compromised. And I don't like it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Let me know what you think. God bless you, London.